It's really a kick to grow our own edible mushrooms, but it's even better knowing how these fungi improve the soil and life beneath our soil. Today, Angel Schatz from the Central Texas Mycological Society explains how. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
I know that I love eating mushrooms. I really lucked out because my wife doesn't, so I get to have all of them. So let's talk about mushrooms. And first, though, what is the Texas Mycological Society?
Yeah, so we are a member-supported, volunteer-run nonprofit that works to teach the community about fungi. And a lot of people have heard about us through our popular mushroom block giveaway, which is a really great program that teaches people how to divert mushroom waste, which is mushroom grow blocks. And we teach people how to use those to grow more mushrooms and also build fungal-rich soil teeming with microbes and fungi.
You're saying mushroom block. What in the world is that?
It's basically like a sterilized bag of grains, sawdust, and nutrients. And this is what commercial mushroom farmers use to grow the gourmet culinary mushrooms, oysters, lion's mane.
And so the manufacturers use those and then they discard them. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, they usually go in the dumpster. But one of the things that's traditional in our organization, and we've been doing this going back before the Mycological Society even formed, since about 2015. So we started working with mushroom farms back then to divert these and keep them out of the trash, because as we know, organic matter in the waste can create methane and cause a lot of environmental problems.
And so also, I mean, sort of the sweet thing is that you get a good waste byproduct that tastes delicious.
Tastes delicious, and it's so great for building soil. There's so many ways to use them, and that's one of the big things that we do is we do these workshops and events to teach people how to use these blocks.
Okay, and so you mentioned that they're good for the soil. So how, let's walk into a scenario that y'all have gone and obtained a number of these. Like, why are they beneficial, and how do y'all utilize this to improve soil health?
Yeah, so there's starting to be more and more studies on how these blocks are beneficial to the soil, so they can be used as a fertilizer. So there's still, you know, nitrogen and phosphate and all the things that our plants love that, you know, continue to break down and feed the sort of soil food web. So all of our shredders, the earthworms love to decompose. The mycelium, which is that white stuff that we see underground, they love to break that stuff up. And that becomes bioavailable to our plants. It helps save water. So adding organic matter just in general through compost will help with water absorption rates, helps with porosity. It improves just the general soil quality. That in itself like reduces the need for things like pesticides and herbicides, because we know when we have really good soil, we also have really healthy plants. These mushrooms we work with, they're wood-loving mushrooms. So there's sawdust, grains like millet, and nutrients. There's usually like a nutrient bath that that's added to the water in the mushroom blocks. And so we work with wood-loving decomposers, and some people might be familiar with mushroom compost. There's a lot of information online about how like some mushroom compost contains soluble salts, which can be really bad for growing, especially young plants. And those soluble salts, you know, we don't want those in our gardens, and those come from what are called dung-loving. And so we all know some dung-loving mushrooms, right? So the things you see at like H-E-B, grocery stores, the portobellas, the white button mushrooms, criminies, those type of mushrooms are dung-loving mushrooms, and we don't do anything with those, but people can buy that type of compost, but it's important to kind of like try to wash those salts out. So these are wood-loving decomposers, so you can even use the blocks as kind of like a inoculum to wood chips. Every season I'll cut down all my woody matter, all the plant material, plant biomass, and do what's called trench composting.
Oh, okay.
And it's a way to, it's kind of called, I think it's also called like lazy man compost. I'm like, I'm lazy.
We'll stick with the trench.
The trench. So you can take like garden scraps and
Mm-hmm.
even like citrus. So the mycelium will even eat through citrus, which is some composting, that doesn't have enough decomposer fungi. Like citrus just kind of sits there. and
Yeah.
It's not
Even
good
in
for a
vermiculture, I
compost.
know it's not great to incorporate a lot.
Yeah,
So.
so you can bury all of that, and it's very magical. Like once you bury it, cover it with wood chips and cardboard and your footpaths. You can sometimes have, when it rains, you'll get mushrooms kind of popping up in your footpaths, which is really magical in the garden.
I know we've had a lot of viewers ask, like, why do we see a lot of mushrooms popping up after a rain?
Yeah, so mushrooms, they're genetically we're really closely related to us. Like they're also 70% water, so they need that rain to help generate enough energy to create the mushroom, which is the fruit body, the reproductive organ. So they want to continue to spread their spores and keep decomposing and cycling nutrients and making them available for all the plant life on our planet.
I know probably the next big question that everybody's going to know is, where in the heck can we get some of these?
Yeah, so we have about 30 neighborhood pickup spots, and even in places like the Natural Gardener, so plant stands, community gardens, churches, some residences.
Baseball
and
fields?
Baseball fields.
Yeah.
A lot of people end up just growing mushrooms by accident. They'll pick up a bag, just leave it in its existing bag, and treat it sort of like a chia pet.
Okay.
Put it in a shady spot. Think about how the mushrooms might like the environment in the wild. Find a nice shady spot. Spritz it once the mushrooms start to pin.
What is that?
So pins, they look a little bit like bowling pins. They're like baby mushrooms. And at that point, you really want to feed it a lot of water because, again, the mushroom has a lot of water in it. And so that'll help it grow faster. And then once you get done fruiting the mushroom, and this will happen over a course of just like a few days, it's really magical how fast mushrooms grow. You can harvest or you can compost your mushroom block to continue to add that soil organic matter that we know our soils lack. You can use that to mulch around your perennials, your vegetables.
There's a distinction though. Wild mushrooms, you probably shouldn't go out harvesting unless you really know what you're looking at.
Yes, yeah, and there's a lot of apps these days that do like pattern recognition, like iNaturalist, Picture This. There's even AI created foraging books. And we tell people always confirm with an expert. We have a great Facebook group. There's another one called Texas Mushroom ID that's on Facebook that's really great. And you always want to confirm with a human on your ID. And we have a great foraging class if you want to get into wild mushrooms.
Great.
So people can take that online. I made a Gantt, like a seasonal calendar that comes with a download. It's very similar to like a vegetable planting guide. So like what mushrooms can I grow, what time of year. And additionally, it tells you which ones have toxic lookalikes that you should also get to know so you don't pick the wrong one. So there's like beginner mushrooms and then ones that are more advanced where you want to be a little more careful. But again, always confirm a wild mushroom with an expert.
Yes.
And that's why we're here.
One quick question, real quick. What's the
Yeah.
Texas state mushroom?
So the Texas state mushroom is called the Texas Star, and
All right.
you definitely want to look for that one.
Well, Angel, thank you so much for coming by and sharing your breadth of knowledge with us about fungi, a very tasty and helpful resource.